Joe Biden's chances of getting reelected for a second term appear to be dwindling as time goes on. Now, it's obviously still a long time until the election, but here is what the current polling is looking like. This is coming from the New York Times and Siena College, and as of right now, across a number of the most important swing states, Biden is not doing as bad as I guess he could. He's up a couple points in Wisconsin, but in other states that he really needs to win, it's not looking great. Some are fairly tight. Pennsylvania, he's down by 3. But then you get to places like Arizona that he won last time around, he's down by 7. Michigan, he won last time, down by 7. Georgia has had a number of Democratic wins, including the presidential level and the Senate level. He's down by 10. He's down by 12 in Nevada. Now, these are states that he really needs to win unless he's gonna flip Florida and Texas or something. And I have news for you. If he loses Georgia and Nevada, I don't think he's flipping those states. So this is not great news. Now, those are registered voter numbers, okay? Now, when you look at the difference between registered and likely voters, it goes in both directions, but generally he does a little bit better amongst likely voters, that's what you'd want to see. Interestingly, for Trump, it's also similar, but in Michigan, he does quite a bit worse than he did amongst registered voters. So maybe that's a thing that theoretically could swing this thing. Registered voters and those who actually turn out to vote, particularly once we're in the final stretch of the election and everybody's really thinking about it, are not necessarily the same. You also don't have a 2-person race. You're gonna have multiple candidates, the most notable third-party candidate being RFK Jr. He's still drawing about 10% of the vote. That may be consistent between now and election day, or maybe that will drop. Hey, I'm glad you're here. Listen, in order for the Damage Report to keep on going, we need viewers like you to become a member on YouTube. Can you click the join button on YouTube today? Thank you. It appears, it really depends on which poll you look at in terms of where he draws more support from. In that particular poll, it's about evenly drawn from Trump and Biden. But the interesting thing, and this is what I want your thoughts on, Viviana, is some of the groups that Joe Biden really relied on to win back in 2020 do not seem to be such a lock this time around. So Trump and Biden are essentially tied amongst 18 to 29-year-olds and Hispanic voters. Each group gave Mr. Biden more than 60% of their vote back in 2020. Mr. Trump also wins more than 20% of black voters. That would be the highest level of support any Republican presidential candidate had gotten since 1964, if that turns out. And there is reason in the data to potentially think that it might not go that way. But in terms of what is causing the loss of support, it is complicated. There's a lot of reasons. One of the policy areas that is causing him to lose some support is that around 13% of the voters who previously voted for Biden and say they don't plan to do so again did cite the war in Gaza and his effect on that as being the reason. 17% of those voters reported sympathizing with Israel over the Palestinians. But I guess they're still not gonna vote for him, I guess so. I guess he is losing in both directions when it comes to that conflict. Viviana, I've thrown a lot out there. What do you make of it?
Well, I think that's right, spot on. I think, the DNC has been really vying for the fact that people are gonna vote blue no matter what. And that's just not how it's working these days. And they should have done a better job of finding another candidate that people were more likely to vote for. Obviously, his age is playing a part in that. Not that he's that much older than Donald Trump, but they're really playing on that. And it's sad that we're at this place where I feel like the DNC and the RNC are kind of working in cahoots. Like, well, if you do this for us and you scratch our back and da. So the next few months are going to be really pivotal for the Biden campaign. And they're really going to be pushing for people to vote because it's that apathy that's going to kill them, in the polls. So they're hoping that if they can really mobilize voters to get to the polls, that's going to make the difference. But I'm telling you, I don't think that he's going to win this time around, and I don't think it's strong enough to say we're going to vote for him because we don't want him. And enough time has passed that Trump hasn't been in office, and I think Trump has done one good thing. He isn't as vocal as he was in the previous election cycle. Like he isn't out there as much as he is. And I don't know if that's intentional, if he's just not on Twitter anymore or whatever the situation is, but he's not saying, in Spanish, we say "vamos, like just like drool coming out of his mouth all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, he is, but not to the level as he was before. So that time that has passed has sort of made more of an apathy towards him. Like, well, I don't care if he wins. And that is scary because we should really talk about the fear,
Yeah, I think partly he talks about how he's not able to campaign more because he's doing the trial. that may be helping him because he's doing less
might be,
public drooling.
It is.
It might actually be helping him.
And then, but
I do agree.
As a boast.
We're not gonna have time to get into some of the Senate polls, but the Dems seem to be doing a little bit better when it comes to their Senate candidates, which implies that this is not a uniformly Democratic problem. It might be a Biden problem.
It's a Biden problem.
And I blame Biden. Like, many Democrats are not gonna try to challenge. Look, there was a challenge, there was a primary, but most are not gonna try to challenge him. And the media is not gonna take it seriously as long as he is running for re-election. Biden should have stepped down. He should have announced it 2 years ago and would have given a much better chance to the Democrats to win this thing. Now, look, we're 100%. Locked in, he's the candidate now. Maybe too late. I'm just saying that there's an alternate world where another Democrat that would not have been burdened with a lot of stuff about him and would have looked so rational and young in comparison to Trump, that could have been an option to go.
Absolutely. That's what they should. You should get in there, John. Tell them what to do because they're doing it wrong.
Yeah, well, they didn't listen to me before. I don't think they're going to now. So we're